Okay, so the question is, what do I do? So what I do is I create global transformation models, basically to take mankind from a point where each person, when they're born, their identity is created for them. They are not who they think they are. Until you wake up one day, you get a shock and realize everything that you've learned is not what it is supposed to be. So the transformation model takes it from one where the identity is created from the outside in to the models that will show you how to create your own identity, to tap into your uniqueness. And that's not just for one person. The models are infinite. As many people can learn about themselves. And really, at the end of the day, to explain it quite simply, when we are born, we're like little mini computers. We come with a little processor. We come with 2 limiting beliefs. Only 2. Now that's mind-blowing, because that means everything else is man-made thought, all the other fears and all the other limiting beliefs. Might explain a lot, right? So we're born into basically this time, location on planet Earth, and we'll inherit our belief systems from our parents, because when you're from 0 to 7, you're in theta brainwaves, and that's a hypnotic state, and you got to absorb in all the actions and behaviors and belief systems. You got to learn languages, learn how to walk, and that's all done automatically. And all these programs from your parents are literally pumping into you, and from your community and your family, from your community and your family. And as you go through life, all these other institutions and organizations like your school and your college and your corporates and your religion and your media and your financial system, and that's a very low vibration programming system, because if you look at it, it explains why so many people are angry and competing against each other. They don't feel good enough, and they're not creative, and there's no purpose in their life. They don't want to collaborate, and they want to fight, or worse still, they might want to commit suicide or mental health, because we're not taught how to inwardly process any of this information. So we're just reacting all the time, and we're in a negative mindset, and therefore a negative outcome. So it explains individually why we feel like that, and collectively then that translates into things like war and disease and imploding governments and financial systems and 6th mass human extinction and mass formation psychosis. And the list goes on and on and on. And the children are being massively affected now. And all these models, if you look at it, are all built in a binary situation where if something happens, it's a win and for somebody and a lose for somebody else. War, brilliant, incredible, blitz the country. Look at all the arms contracts that would come up with. Now there's double side to this. Country demolished, brilliant. Send in the master planners, rebuild the whole thing. And quite often it's people who have earned money and catered to governments that's recycled into these organizations and situations. And once you go through the list in the pharmaceutical, you find the same thing. So that's the system we find ourselves in now, that ecosystem. People call it matrix. Matrix just means programming. So these models I create then will show mankind, things like the power of your thoughts, the power of breathing, the power of your imagination, the power of the mind, the power of your subconscious programming. Why do you do 95% of the same things every single day on automation? The power of the super subconscious. Some people call this the God particle. Some people call it source energy. Some people call it quantum energy, spiritual energy, life force. But that's so powerful, that zone that we have access to, is that we nearly have unlimited creativity and productivity. And we're not taught any of those powers. They're just 3 zones that we have in us. You know, in reverse order: 3, the mind; 2, your passions and your subconscious programming; and number 1, then your flow state. Even some people call this being sport when you're in the zone, and that's when you're doing high performance stuff and time flies by. So that's ultimately where I'm going, is this global transformation for humans and mankind. And the old world, which I see, they call that the 3D world, the low vibration matrix, to this evolutionary. It's a conscious evolution, because it's all about thoughts and feelings and joy and happiness and connection and collaboration. And like I said, remember the golden rule: only 2 beliefs that you have when you're born. And I guess my story is so powerful because I mirrored that story from going an outside in person to an inside out. And that's going to be fascinating, I think, for people to hear about and listen to. So the bridge between the 2 worlds is basically a tech bridge. That's the image I have in my head. And that tech bridge means it's all possible now to do this on a global basis, i.e. to connect everybody together by technology. For the technologies then to do one thing that's going to link the whole of mankind besides the technology: money. And there's the origins of the financial ecosystem. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the mind-blowing $500 trillion financial ecosystem. So you can see what I'm doing is really what I call ROI, the return of the individual. It's about each person tapping into their unlimited power. So it's not so much about the money, which it is. And that's every man, woman, and child. And what's in it for you? Things like as much money as you want. Energy goes. Focus goes, or energy goes. If that's what you want. You want to create a legacy for yourself, your personal brand, your corporate brand, your sporting organization. It's all available. You want to create. This is why I think the rich and powerful are going to buy into it, because it protects their money and enables them to make more money. And it's going to just blow this planet apart in terms of innovation and creation of new goods and products. And it's going to set it on an exponential curve, which is just, if you imagine the last 20 years doing that in 1 year, that type of stuff, and doubling every year. So, but I think the real reason why the rich will buy into this is because it creates a legacy for their children. It means their children can tap into this bigger power, bigger than the ones. Even the people on this planet who know how to tap into that inner power, this is 10 times bigger than this. And it means creating a safe and lovely environment. And, you know, if you look at children when they're in the playground, they don't see any. That's your advanced civilization right there. They use their imagination, their friends, they don't see colour. And then the adults get a hold of them and boom in the negative beliefs. So that's what's in it for you. What's the model do? It's going to do crazy things like duality in it. So if you think a portion of the money, wherever the world's wealth is, and here's the secret: to go into that single digital bank account, because from that single digital bank account, money flows in, money flows out to projects zone 2, and money flows into zone 3, which then flows into every single person in the world. So let's say 50% of the money going into the projects and the other 50% to people. So people now have the opportunity on an equal basis to create goods and services and products and connect up with like-minded people on global networks. So the duality in that is, that's equal opportunity, but we're all different, and we all have different energies and different focuses and different talents. So if you're just money orientated, if you provide enough value for mankind in whatever you're producing, mankind will reciprocate that in terms of payments. So each person is individual in the system. So people's heads can't get around binary thinking, which means, how can that happen? It's only one or the other. No, it's a programmable currency. It's a programmable. So it means then that you can send X percent of money out to everybody and X percent to global projects. And you can also, because of technology, you're going to produce 10 times what's in the world. So that means if you're producing 10 times, there's 9x free. So that's how all your free stuff comes in as well. A bit like the phones. And would you have a link? Here's the secret. This is the bit you need to understand. To that single bank account. That's where the magic happens. Because that's when you can do A, B, C, D all the way down to Y free. But Z is the link to the money. And that's where people get paid. And the more money that floods into that single bank account, that's where the return comes back to the investor. And that's so easy to happen because we're living in a world where you could do all that in the space of a few months. It's going to be a crazy, crazy period of time in human history. Because like I said, this is about raising human consciousness to go from that angry state and jealous and competing to Team Planet, Team Earth. Doesn't mean to say we're really competing against ourselves. So I don't compete against anybody. I'm competing against myself. Or if I do compete against somebody, I let go of the result. It's not important. It's how I perform and how I do. I'm creating my reality. So when you look at that model, that's the creative energy of 8 billion people. That's a lot of people on this planet, all connected by technology. And the technology means that all the master plans can be built in exponential quick time. Planet Earth, sea, and space. And also all those programs to unlock the human potential of every single person. And that literally is a heaven on earth, the promised land. Thank you.